In the last tutorial, we covered all the preparations needed to use the GitHub deployment option. We created a personal access token and an empty repository. So now switch back to the Simply Static settings. In Simply Static settings, deploy GitHub, we can start configuring our GitHub connection. First, we add a username. Then the email address. Copy and paste the token we created in the last tutorial. Add the name of the repository. Configure the visibility. Remember, we set our repository to private. You can leave the branch as is. Main is the default branch created when you create a new repository in GitHub, but in case you want to change it, you have to modify the setting here as well. Click Save Settings. Optionally, you can configure a webhook URL. Remember, we added a permission to perform webhook requests within a repository context. This is useful if you want to further automate your deployment by bundling scripts, exporting it to another remote location via a GitHub action or anything else. The throttle request option is only needed if you run a GitHub export for a pretty large website. Free accounts do have a rate limit of 5,000 requests per hour, but don't worry, Simply Static will handle behind the scenes. Throttle requests will slow down the requests per second to avoid hitting the secondary API limit. With that said, we can switch to activity log and run a new export. The export is finished now, and all your files got committed to GitHub. To double check the results, switch to your GitHub account and check your repository. If you refresh the page, you will see a list of all your HTML files coming from the static export into your GitHub repository. Congratulations, you successfully deployed to GitHub, and you can now use your GitHub repository to automatically deploy your static website to providers like Cloudflare Pages or Netlify.